Hello, Ridge Runner Nation. We're back and we're better than ever with a new edition of the Weekly Rundown, where we talk about all things trail and ultra running in Southeast Ohio and across the East Coast. We are on episode number 29.
Wow.
We're finally older than me.
That's crazy.
I'm the newer host, John Dolovecki.
And I'm the better host, Wesley Hart. This week we're coming to you from an undisclosed location. This week we'll cover results from the Promised Land 50K, the North Face Challenge, the Big Turtle 50, the Cap City Half, and more. But first, look at the Paul Barty streak.
Paul Barty completed his weekly half on the bike path, part with Dave H. I think that's just under half, right, Wes?
I think it's like a smidge apart, and there's so many different measurements there.
Yeah, it's always hard to keep track of those. We'll need Barty to confirm for us. That makes number 438 for Barty. Imagine what Ridge Runners would look like on our 438th episode of the Rundown. It's like 8 years from now.
I'll be your age. Almost. That's crazy.
All right, let's get on to race results. There was a lot of amazing races that took place this past weekend, and tons of Ridge Runner members showed up. Probably one of the most active race weekends of this year so far, and my Strava feed was just full.
It was awesome to see. The Promised Land 50K took place in Bedford, Virginia. This is one of the iconic Dr. David Horton races that features 7,000 feet of climbing and 34 miles. This course has a lot of history, and the ghost of Eric Grossman won again as no one was able to take down his course record.
It's fast.
We saw the 2017 champion return for a third straight year, and he was able to come out on top again. Most of you know him as the faster host, and that is Michael Owen, who finished the time of 4 hours, 46 minutes. Will he return again to get the course record that keeps eluding him? We shall see. Second place was Nicholas DePiro, who was just 8 minutes behind Michael, with a time of 4 hours, 54 minutes. Rounding out the top three was Ridge Runner Nation's Ohio Ultra Runner of the Year in 2018, Travis Zipfel. Travis looks like he's back on the horse. Congrats. On the women's side, we saw Laura Sullivan win with a time of 5 hours, 55 minutes. Second place was right behind her was Sheila Vibert with a time of 6 hours, even. And rounding out the top three was Joe Thompson in 6 hours, 6 minutes. Close race. This race was loaded with Ridge Runner Nation members. Ohio University grad student James Fox finished in 5th place in 5 hours, 10 minutes. Frank the Tank Gonzalez finished right behind him in 5:13. John Anderson finished in 5:14. Bethany Patterson finished in 6:11. Keith Nippling finished in 6:33. And we can't forget about Bobby Owen, who finished in 7:53. This was her first ultra since her and Michael had their second child, and this family photo at the finish with the kids and David Horton makes our hearts melt.
It does.
Congrats to everyone that ran the Promised Land 50K. I was bummed to not be running it this year, but this event is an awesome one.
The North Face 50-mile Endurance Challenge took place in Washington, D.C. over the weekend, and we saw some crazy times. This race features ever-changing terrain that varies between single and double track. It was a close race, but Jimmy Stalvo took the top spot in 7 hours, 36 minutes, 35 seconds. Second place, just behind, was Chris Muiz in 7 hours, 38 minutes, and 16 seconds. And rounding out the top three was Alex Roederer in 7 hours and 46 minutes. It's a really close group right there.
Super close.
On the women's side, we saw Anne Bouchard take the top spot in 8 hours, 8 minutes, 51 seconds. Second place was Emily Cavallo in 8 hours, 23 minutes. And rounding out the podium was Hannah Rickman in 8 hours and 30 minutes. Congrats to all of the North Face Challenge runners.
The Big Turtle 50-miler took place in Moorhead, Kentucky, where the runners had a lot on the line. The top male and female receive a free entry into the Warhammer 100-miler in June and an entry into the Big Turtle the following year. If this is good enough for you, the winners also receive a $350 cash prize. Sign me up. The two people who fought long and hard for the top results were Justin Aglip, who finished in 7 hours, 28 minutes, and Ariella Flory, who finished in 10 hours, 51 minutes. Justin's performance bested the course record by 25 minutes, and Ariella's time was good enough for third all-time. The men's podium saw Scott Burser finish in second in 8 hours, 20 minutes. In third place was Ryan Ramsby. The women's podium saw Laura Zaleski finish in 11 hours, 35 minutes, and Kathy Knoll from Ohio taking third place with a time of 11 hours, 52 minutes. Some of the other results that caught our eye included Ridge Runner Nation member Mike Anderson, who finished in 11 hours, 16 minutes. Brandon Witzler ran the 50K and finished in 6th place. Congrats to all Big Turtle runners.
The Cap City Half Marathon took place in Columbus, Ohio this weekend, where we saw 5,000 plus runners take to downtown Columbus. One result that does not really shock us is the fact that Josh Park, currently on the Ohio University cross country team, the 2018 MAC champion, won the race with a time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 2 seconds, which is blazing fast. Man, I would love to ever just do that at that pace.
It's crazy.
This race has been on Josh's radar for a while, and this result is absolutely amazing. We were fortunate enough to have Josh come on a Trail Talk back in the fall, so if you want to get to know Josh and the adversity that he's overcome, I would highly recommend checking that out. We'll put a link in the description below. A few other Ridge Runner Nation members that had strong showings was Mick Evans, who finished in 1 hour and 36, Jason Holzapfel finished in 1 hour and 33, Kurt Keener finished in 1 hour 48, and Michael Simperman finished just over 2 hours. Congrats to everyone that ran the race. It looks like it was a blast out there. And the Race for the Reason took place this weekend, and I was out there in attendance and saw so many smiling faces, and I'm just happy to see so many people had a great time on this really good event.
Yeah, it's an awesome event, and congrats to everyone that ran that race. And now for our check-in with our Troy tracker, as Troy Allen is still out on the AT. Troy started this week by knocking out 26 miles from Newfound Gap to Fire Tower. However, this week became a lot tougher as he came down with the norovirus. Troy continued to push through after taking a day to rest. To round out the week, Troy made it 28 miles from Hogback Shelter to Irwin, Tennessee. Keep grinding out there, Troy. We are all pulling for you.
Now for our Strava rundown, where each week we highlight all of the interesting activities and achievements from runners all across the East Coast. If you want to get noticed on the rundown, join the Ridge Runners Club on Strava by visiting that link in the description below. Oh, dear Lord. What is this one?
So I was trying to find a photo of Travis riding a horse.
I got the horses in the bag, horse stock is attached.
Because I said get back on his horse after the results this week, but I couldn't find a photo of Travis riding a horse, so I decided to do my horse dance move this week.
Does Travis even ride horses?
You know, I don't know if he does, but I was really curious, and I was hoping that he'd have one somewhere.
Ohio University's trail running class started Tuesday this week with an apparent goose attack. I don't know how geese are outside of Athens, but I know they are ruthless on the bike path here. Those gaggles are just dangerous. I have been chased multiple times over the years, and it's always fun to look at my Strava analysis and see this random quarter mile that I'm extra fast. But also, the baby geese are finally here, so, mothers are quite protective. So be careful out there in the bike path. TRC ended this week with what they call a mini Barkley, which, Wes, I think you took part in, right?
Yeah. The event is the final exam in Michael Owen's trail running class at Ohio University, and it is a brutal one. Runners had to find 11 books that were randomly placed in the middle of the woods off the beaten trail. Last year there were no finishers in the event, but that changed this year. Jacob Heinold won with a time of 1 hour 59 minutes. Ian Akers was the only other finisher in a time of 2 hours 8 minutes. The winner of the fun run was veteran Jen Murphy, who found 5 books in exactly 1 hour. This year's class crushed it after dealing with severe fog and rain in the early morning. Congrats, trail running class.
Eric Anderson took quite a nasty fall, I'm assuming. I didn't say he fell, but tore up his hand quite a bit, and this picture shows how gross it is. Eric labeled his run, so that's why Carl wears gloves. And Carl's quoted in Trail Runner magazine saying, "When I crash, I don't ruin my hands. I can carry 2 gels in each glove so they're functional." That way too. The next time you crash and have a flapper hanging off your hand, let me know how that feels. This situation looks like Carl gets to say I told you so. Hope that heals up real quick, Eric.
Joshua Binder ran the CNO 100 miler but only ended up making it 59 miles. Joshua went on to say that he didn't have the heart or the fire to finish. This was a learning experience and a distance PR for Joshua. We admire your attitude, Joshua, and we are confident that you are going to finish your next 100 miler. Like you said, onward and upward. Jason Roop also ran the CNO 100 miler and finished with a time of 23 hours 56 minutes. Impressive time, and congrats on coming in just under 24 hours.
A few Ridge Runner Nation members competed in the Glass City Marathon in Toledo this past weekend. Katie Hooper ran an awesome race, and she was even 3 months pregnant. Jeremy Pope finished in 2 hours 44 minutes with a 2-minute PR. Congrats, Jeremy. Alec Torgerson PR'd with a time of 3 hours and 6 minutes, and Adam Deshawn finished in just under 4 hours. Congrats, guys. Morgan Green had an awesome run earlier in the week. She claimed that this was interesting as she crossed this bridge. The selfie is great. Congrats on your run, but I want nothing to do with that bridge.
I do not blame you. Tony Takovich broke the Athens High School school record in the 3,200 meter run. He finished in 9 minutes 32 seconds. He bested the school record by 10 seconds. Congrats, Tony, and we'll be keeping our eyes out for you this postseason. And with that, thanks for tuning in this week's Rundown from the Ridge Runners. Be sure to check back next week. We'll deliver news on the North Face Challenge New York and a couple other awesome races, including Strolling Jim and Grayson Highlands 50K, and maybe even a couple more in there. In addition, subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell below, and you'll be notified every single time we release a new video. If you enjoy our shows, hit the like button and share it with your friends. Remember, you can also find us in podcast form on Apple iTunes and Google Play. I'm your host, the better host, Wesley Harden.
And I'm your host, Ethan. John. And we'll see you next week on The Rundown.